We're back at it once again. Backstage Pass, the podcast. I'm the host, Realest Low, and we have a special guest in the building tonight. He's a former professional wrestling referee and manager, a former SmackDown general manager, and he's also a WWE Hall of Famer. Let me holler at you players. Give it up for Theodore R. Long. Teddy Long, everybody.
My man Realest Low right here. I'm having a great time with him. I'm happy to be here on the Backstage Podcast. Also, you left out ECW.
ECW, yeah. All right, well, Teddy, I'm just, glad to have you here today.
And I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. I mean, this is the first time heard a lot about your podcast, man. I've just been looking forward for you to get in contact with me so I could come on for you. And I'm glad that we picked the right time. It's Black History Month, so
yeah,
we're going to educate some people today.
I got you, man. Yeah, I mean, you've been in this game for a long time. I mean, I remember watching you back in the early 90s. I'm sure you've seen a lot through the business. How did you actually get into the professional wrestling game?
Well, the way that I got started in professional wrestling is my background is I was a disc jockey on a radio station. That was in my young days. Mm-hmm. So by me being involved with that type of work, I happened to meet soul singer James Brown. So I started working for James Brown, and James Brown had a TV show in Atlanta, Georgia on WTBS, and it was called Future Shock. And it was a dance show like Soul Train.
Okay.
And when James came to Atlanta, I got in touch with him because I knew him from working for him with one of his radio stations in Augusta, Georgia. I did work for him there. Then I met him when I was working at a radio station in Birmingham, Alabama, which is my home. It was WENN. Then I also worked at another radio station in Jackson, Mississippi called WOKJ. I worked there for a while, and I also did some work with James down there. But to make a long story short, I found out James had the TV show in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So I went down, met with James, talked to him. So he told me he needed somebody to be the music director, like select the music for the people to dance by.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. And I got that job. So by me doing that, there was also at TBS on Saturday morning, there was also taping Georgia Championship Wrestling.
I remember Georgia.
And me and my son, he was a little boy, we loved wrestling. So by me working for James Brown, then I went down to TBS on Saturday mornings when they were taping wrestling, and I could get in free. The guys, the security didn't bother me. So I went in, started watching wrestling, and I run into Abdullah the Butcher. And Abdullah the Butcher wanted somebody to kind of show him around Atlanta. He had just moved to town. He didn't know his way around, and he wanted to go to a lot of the clubs. He liked to party. So I just, lucky enough, I got that job with Abdullah, and so I started going down to TBS studios every Saturday morning with taking Abdullah down. And by me being with him, I was able to get in the back with all the boys, with everybody else. So when I started doing that, I felt a little funny back there, a lot of eyes on me, so I just started making myself busy. I started emptying garbage cans. I would ask guys, they had a cafeteria down in the basement of the TBS studio, so I would ask the guys if they needed food, so they would send me on errands and stuff. I was kind of like a gopher.
Okay.
But I made myself busy.
Yeah.
And the other thing I started doing on my own was I started going, when the guys would go to the ring and take their jackets and stuff off, I would go to the ring and take their coats and bring them back to the locker room. Well, they liked me for that because a lot of times guys would forget and leave their stuff on the ring apron, and a lot of the fans would take it. They never would get their stuff back.
Okay.
So I was doing that, so I kind of got in graces a little bit there. And after I started hanging around for a while, they ended up where they needed somebody to put up the ring, take the ring down. And so by me being, like I said, hanging around, and they kind of knew me, they gave me that job, putting up the ring, taking the ring down. So one night I took the ring to the Cobb Civic Center in Marietta, Georgia. Around 7 o'clock, there was no referees. All the wrestlers was there, but they had no rep. So the promoter, which is, her name was Louise Manning. That lady is living today. I think she's about 85 years old. And she came to me and she said, "Teddy Long, you're going to have to referee tonight." And I told her, I said, "I don't know anything about refereeing." She said, "Don't worry." She said, the guys will talk to you. They'll take care of you. So they sent out, got a referee shirt, brought it back, put it on me. I went out. The first match I worked was Ron Bass and golly, Black Bart.
Black Bart, okay.
They had a Texas death match. First time I'm ever refereeing. Next thing I know, I look up, they're beating each other to death, man. They're bleeding all over the place, scared me. I jump out of the ring. I'm ready to go. I leave them.
Yeah.
The guy that's sitting at the table ringing the bell, he's screaming at me, Teddy Long, get back in the ring, get back in the ring. And I could hear Black Bart, I think he said, looked over at Ron Badd and he said, did you see what the referee just did? And they're all looking at me, you know. So finally I get it together and I slide back in. And I'm saying to myself, I know I'm done. You know, this is it for me because I done screwed up everything. So show you how God blessed me is at the end of that match, the guy that was ringing the bell, he rang the bell too quick and he screwed the finish up.
Wow.
So they got so mad at him till they forgot about me.
Yeah.
So that's how I started refereeing.
Got you.
The way I started managing is I was riding with Kevin Sullivan and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, God rest his soul. These are two guys that knew this business. I mean, they knew all the ins, all the outs, and they were geniuses. They had the minds. I mean, in fact, a lot of people don't know it today that Kevin Sullivan was the one started the NWO. That was his creation.
Okay.
And you see how well that went.
Yep.
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, he was the booker for a long time in Memphis territory. He booked with Watts, and he booked a lot of territories, especially in Alabama, Continental Wrestling, I believe. But Eddie was smart. He was a genius. So I had the chance to ride with these two guys, man, and they talked about wrestling all the time, and so that's how I learned a lot. So we each night we'd leave the arena and we'd ride to the next town. You know, we'd get a case of beer, and so we start drinking. So we get to drinking. So I started turning the radio down, DJing for them. You know, so they were letting them know that. So they were there. We just having fun. I'm DJing, but they saw something else. Kevin Sullivan, and especially Kevin, he saw something else. He said, "Wow, man, you can talk."
Yeah.
And so I didn't think no more about it. So the next thing came about, I think Kevin and Eddie went to the guy whoever was booking at that time and told him about, I could talk and all this stuff. So that's how the managing started. They had me do the heel referee turn at Superdome out in New Orleans, where I turned on the Road Warriors. I fast counted the Road Warriors. And that was my heel turn referee.
So you went against the Road Warriors, and that's what
it was the Road Warriors against the Varsity Club.
Okay.
And I was the referee.
Yeah.
Well, to turn me, they wanted me to be a heel manager. So to turn me, they had me fast count the Road Warriors. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah. Just like that. Boom. Road Warriors lost. Varsity Club win the title. People booing me. Now they mad at me. So now the next TV, I come out on TBS, and Jim Hurd brings me out. And they look at what I'd done, and they felt that it was wrong. No, I did something else after that. I think I fast counted Ron Simmons. It was Ron Simmons and JYD. Okay. And I fast counted Ron no, JYD. Yeah, fast counted him, and he beat Ron. So that was my second strike. And the next thing I did, Jim Hurd brought me out on TV and said they couldn't tolerate no more of my bad refereeing and all that. So they fired me
as a referee.
I stayed as a referee. So I stayed gone for about 2 weeks, and then I come back, and that's when I started managing.
Gotcha.
And I came back as being a manager.
So as a referee, though, did you do a lot of matches as a referee?
Yeah, I refereed TBS. Every match on that TV show, I refereed it. You remember WCW Saturday Night?
Yep.
And the Saturday morning show.
Okay.
I refereed 2 hours Saturday morning and 2 hours Saturday night.
So which did you prefer better? Refereeing or managing?
Well, managing is always better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have a lot of fun. But refereeing is really, you learn. Some people don't learn. Okay. That was a learning experience for me.
Yeah.
Because when you're refereeing, you got to be, everybody in that ring needs to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And sometimes the referee's job is more important than the wrestler's job. Yeah. Sometimes the referee is the cause of the finish and what happens at the end. So sometimes what happens at the end tells a story. So without a good referee, you can't tell that story.
Gotcha.
So I just enjoy I take refereeing as this. Refereeing got me where I am today. Yeah. That was, had I never putting the ring up, taking the ring out, refereeing, I would never be where I am now. Yeah. So I always treasure that. Refereeing, like I said, that was it. Yeah.
Back in those days, there wasn't a lot of black managers, though. I remember Slick. You remember Slick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back then, and basically I don't recall any. What was Gary Hart?
Yeah, good, very good friend of mine.
Gary?
Yeah, Gary Hart, very good man. He was one of the nicest guys you could meet. I'll tell you a good story about me and Gary and the great Kabuki.
I remember the great Kabuki. But before you do that, I want to hear the story.
Okay.
What was Gary? Because I could never make. He talked slick and everything. Was he black?
No.
Okay, but
he's a white guy.
He was a white dude.
Smooth like
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember.
That's why he was in his spot.
Yeah.
He was smooth like that. Yeah. I remember one time I was riding with Gary and the great Kabuki, and I don't know why Gary wanted to let Kabuki drive. Kabuki's from Japan, has no driver license, never drove in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, Kabuki is under the wheel driving. I can't say nothing. I'm just, what can I say? Kabuki's doing about 85, 90 miles an hour in the rain. We're hydroplaning and everything because I can feel the cars is leaving the ground. So it's lucky we didn't just crash in.
Yeah.
But it's a good, I'll tell you, man.
Yeah. But he was Gary Hart was Kabuki's manager. He always had like those type of weird type of.
He managed Abdullah for a while too.
Okay, yeah.
Abdullah Butcher's manager.
And was it Kamala?
Yeah, he had Kamala.
Yeah.
And him and Skandar Akbar come up together. Out with the World Class in Texas.
Okay.
With Devon Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you begin to? How did you start wrestling Doom? Ron Simmons and.
I wasn't wrestling.
I mean, not wrestling, but managing. My bad. Yeah, managing. Yeah.
Well, with Doom, when Butch and Ron, when they decided to put him as a tag. Well, here's the deal. Once Kevin Sullivan and Eddie Gibbon them found out I could talk, then that's when they started pitching the idea of trying to find me some people to manage.
Okay.
So what happened is Kevin Sullivan's wife at the time, Nancy, she's deceased now. She was Chris Benoit's wife, but she was Nancy Sullivan at the time.
Okay.
They put Butch and Ron with her, and they were calling them the Ebony Express, and they had the mask on. Well, after they found out that I could talk and they wanted to put some people with me, they took them away from her and they gave them to me. I took the mask off of them and renamed them and called them Doom. That's how I got them.
Okay. Because I remember Butch Reed. Butch Reed was one of those dudes who, he definitely was a badass though. It seemed like Yeah, he ain't take no shit.
Yeah, no, I've seen him beat up guys in the ring. God rest his soul, yeah. I know I've seen him pop Buddy Landell upside the head one night. But Buddy Landell, God rest his soul too, he was just mischievous. I remember one time we was at the hotel in Atlanta and the swimming pool, ain't nobody bothering Buddy. He takes beer bottles and breaks them and throws the glass into the swimming pool.
Wow.
So I think that's when Butch got mad with him. I think that's when Butch beat him up that night or something like that.
Yeah, so you had, was it Dan Spivey and
Sid Vicious.
Skyscrapers too.
Yeah.
Those are some big guys too.
Sid Vicious, hard to work with. Danny Spivey, hell of a nice guy. Couldn't find a better guy. Sid was in his own world.
Okay.
So then I could tell a little bit about him too. He wasn't too keen with me being, their manager. So
Sid Vicious wasn't.
Yeah, Sid.
But Dan was cool.
Yeah.
That's why when you look at somebody, you can't really judge a book by its cover, because I would think Dan was more of a butthole. Seemed like it to me.
No, he was more relaxed.
He was more relaxed
and a nice guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He didn't take no stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, but he was a super nice guy.
And you managed a ton of wrestlers. Who would you say was the easiest to work with and the most problematic wrestler over your career?
Oh, man, I think the most easiest one to work with when I had was Mark Merrow, Johnny B. Bad.
He was the easiest?
He was pretty easy because he was, green, just breaking in. I had been in for a little bit. I'm still green too, but I was able to help him out a lot. In fact, a lot of people don't know that I gave him the name Johnny B. Bad. That was my idea. What we did, Dusty was the booker at that time. And me and Mark, we got with Dusty. Dusty introduced us we met Ted Turner and Jane Fonda. They came to TBS, and Dusty was showing off all the new acts, that the upcoming talent. And we met them. And then anyway, when they first started with him, Dusty wanted to call him Tutti Frutti.
Oh, man.
And the reason he wanted to say that is because he looked so much like Little Richard.
Yeah.
So, fine with me, in this business, whatever they say, it's what you do back then, and now too, sometime. But anyway, he come back out of the room and he come to me and he says, Teddy, he says, they want to call me Tutti Frutti. I said, we have to kind of do what they say, man. I don't know what to tell you. He said, well, can you think of something?
Yeah.
You know, and so I just start there and I sit there and I said, I don't know, man. I said, I'll try. But me and Dusty were pretty cool. So I came up with this phrase. I said, all the fly guys will be mad and all the fly girls will be glad. Get ready for Johnny B. Bad. And I told that to Dusty. And he looked at me and said, yeah, I like that, baby. I like that. It's good, baby. That's good, Teddy Long. That's good shit, baby. And that's how he got the name Johnny B. Bad.
Okay. Yeah.
I had Ice Train. You know, he just recently passed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ice Train. I don't remember.
Remember Ice Train? I had him. He was with Scott Norton. They were called Fire and Ice. They were a tag team one time.
Okay.
But Ice Train, I had him back in the 90s.
Okay. Man, I mean, Buff Bagwell, right?
Buff Bagwell and Two Cold Scorpio.
Yeah, Two Cold Scorpio.
Yeah, they were a tag team.
Yeah.
Bagwell a little shaky, but other than that, we got along.
Okay. And Two Cold Scorpio, he was good to work with too?
Yeah, Scorpio was good.
He had a lot of dope moves. Like off the top, I remember watching him do it off the top, like leg drop or something.
Yeah, well,
never seen nothing.
He was really athletic, man. You know, he did a lot to his body. And like I said, I saw him recently, and Funk can still go, man.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he can still move.
Yeah. I was thinking about like a lot of those wrestlers back in the day from NWA, and I had seen you shoot on Ric Flair. And I know you've told this story before, but Rick, you had some sort of beef with Rick or something. That y'all had a beef because he basically called you the N-word or something.
Well, I didn't have no beef. Maybe he must have had a beef. You know, it was his idea to call me that. It wasn't nothing that I did to him to cause him to call me that, that I know of. So it's just the nature of this business, you know. You just going to have some people just going to say what they're going to say, and you're going to have some people just going to do what they're going to do. So a lot of times, you know, I had to find out, you know, this is a game and you got to know how to play it. So a lot of times they would say things to you that they knew would make you mad, but they wanted to make you fight about it.
Yeah.
So if you start a fight, you fight yourself. So that way they can't say, well, you can't cry racism talking about we fired him. No, he started a fight. So you fight yourself, but that's a game.
Yeah.
They played it, but see, they didn't knew I knew how to play the game, because I learned you keep your ears open and your mouth shut. That's how you learn how to play the game. Somebody asks you something and you know it. No, I don't know. I remember one time the one guy went after I got in WWE and Vince was, you know, I was the man there. One of them walked up to me and told me, he said, Teddy Long, you got the carte blanche. Okay? So I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
What's the carte blanche? I know what the carte blanche is. That means you can't bother me. But I never let him know that.
Yeah.
So but that's what I stayed in my position 9 years. Vince McMahon don't put you on his TV and make you the face of his company for 9 years. The man is strictly business.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that let me know. It wasn't me.
Right. So I mean, he came at you that way, but you and him never really had like.
You don't have to have no beef, man.
Yeah.
You don't have to have no beef. All you gotta be is black.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
So what would you say is the biggest difference compared to back in the day, like
Well, ain't much difference. Opportunities is a lot better now. You know, for as pay for you know guys, you know they're able to get contracts and get guaranteed money. I look at it like this, you know what I mean? They can use you on the TV any way they want to, but they also give you the opportunity to. It's like football, you know, when the quarterback throws that ball to the receiver, you know, they waiting on him to make a touchdown. So when Vince gives you that opportunity, he's waiting on you to score. Okay. So it's left up to you to get out there and score, you know, and if you score, then that man will see, well, maybe there's some money in him. Maybe we can use him. But if you don't, you know, help yourself, you know what I mean, there's nothing really left, you know. So, like I said, I think it's all in what you do too, you know, your performance. And I never will forget, I remember I walked out the first time when I went to work for Vince and I started managing before I was a general manager. And I walked out and cut the first promo with DLo Brown. And I come back in there and Vince McMahon was standing up and he looks at me and he says, I can't believe I've had you right here under my nose all this time.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, well, there were some people could have told you what I could do, but they didn't. And he understood it, you know, because another thing he said to me too, he said, they wasted you down south.
That's what Vince said.
He said to me, because he understood. And that's why he gave me that story, the White Boy Challenge. With me and Rodney Mack, where I'm talking about the white man keeping me down, and I was belittling the white man. Like the thing with Jerry Lawler, you know, we was in Memphis, and I said to him, I said, well, Jerry Lawler, I knew everybody here in Memphis think that you're a king, but to me, you just another cracker with a crown. And Vince wrote that.
Vince wrote that, yeah.
And when he said to me, they wasted me down south, he gave that to me because he knew I could do it because it really happened to me.
Yeah. Right, and it came off authentic and everything.
I was real.
Yeah.
And every time I walked out, I was me. I wasn't a character. I say player today.
Right.
The same stuff I say on TV.
Let
me tell you how I got player. I had a Labrador Retriever dog. Okay, his name was Boss. So every time Boss would mess around and get in my way, I just would mess with him. Player, come on, get out the way, player, get out the way. And I thought no more about it.
Right.
Went to TV and I started saying it because I took the street to the TV. That's where I come from, the street. The dance that I do, I got that from my grandson.
From the grandson.
Show you how that happened. When he was 2 years old, we bought him a walker. And every time we put him in that walker, he would just bop up and down just like that.
Yeah.
So at that time, we was taping SmackDown on Tuesdays, and on Fridays, I'd go home and watch it. So I'd go back home on Fridays and I'd get him and pull him up to, I said, look, I'm doing your dance.
Yeah.
Well, one day I got the TV and I was getting ready to walk out and they was playing my music, and as I started walking, Vince is yelling at me. Do that dance, do that dance. And I'm like, what dance? And he starts doing it, Vince. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. That's how the dance started.
That's how it started. So who would you say was the best professional wrestling executive that you actually worked for?
Vince.
He
was the true. He was true. He didn't lie. Well, he didn't lie to me. Maybe he did, I don't know. But all I can say is good things about him.
Okay.
Because he took care of me and he looked out for me because he realized what he had. He didn't take care of me just because he liked me. He took care of me because I did my job.
Right.
That man ain't put me out there on his TV to waste time.
Yeah.
Because he didn't play, man. He was strictly business. And I've seen him, man. I've seen him on the warpath, man. That man didn't play around.
Because I remember one time, who was that? I know the guy's name. There was footage. I don't know if it was on television or not, but they were doing something that he ran up on Vince and kind of like bumped into Vince or pushed him or something. It was a black guy, the bald-headed black guy. I can't think of his name right now.
Ahmed Johnson?
Not Ahmed. No. He's still around now, I think. Oh, man, I know that guy's name. He doesn't wrestle. He doesn't I think he's like ambassador or something. He did some sort of ambassador work for WWE. But it was an issue. It was a situation where Vince, I guess, suspended him because he grabbed Vince or something.
Oh, you talking about Titus O'Neil?
Titus O'Neil, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
He reminds me of my uncle.
Titus?
His name was Tom.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Wow. Okay, so you had issues.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
To the boss.
Yeah.
See now you understand me? Tension. Got to have that attention.
Yeah. See, I didn't see it. I heard somebody they was talking about it one time. I didn't actually see the footage.
I saw it.
But you saw it. You was there. And everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
why would you do that?
Yeah. So what did you do when Vince offered, or who offered you to be able to manage SmackDown?
Become the general manager?
The general manager for SmackDown.
They didn't tell me anything. The first thing when I started heel managing, they wanted me to be like Don King. I remember one of the writers came and told me Vince said that, and so I didn't say nothing because whatever they want you to do, you do what you're told. So I'm like, well, okay, whatever. So they never did say nothing else to me about Don King. So I just walked out on TV and started doing my own thing.
Your own thing, yeah.
So once I started doing my own thing, Vince saw that and he liked it. Okay, so that way I didn't have to change, And like I said, thanks to the good Lord, the way I got over is I was me. That's why I wasn't nervous. I was having a good time because I wasn't trying to be something that I wasn't.
Right.
I was they wrote my stuff, the writers. I was saying what was written.
Yeah.
But I put my own a rhythm to it.
Gotcha.
And a lot of times I would put my own words to some of the stuff, but Vince trusted me because he knew I wasn't going to go out on his TV and say something that what I wasn't supposed to say.
Yeah.
Abraham Watson did that one night, and then he found out that that's not what you do. We didn't see him no more.
That was the end of it.
Yeah, right.
Vince is serious about that.
Well, you can't go out. This man's got $1 billion operation going. You can't walk out on that TV and say something that could kill everything that he's done. So you know what I mean. So you have to. They have to trust you, and he trusted me.
Gotcha.
Okay. He got on. He told me one time. I remember one time Stephanie, it was around Christmas time, and Stephanie came to me and she wanted me to wear this Christmas hat. So I'm like, just Stephanie, it's my daughter. What am I gonna say? So I didn't even think nothing about it. So I put the hat on. Shoot, so take that off.
He ain't like that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're the general manager here.
Right. And you were the general manager for like
9 years.
9 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Who else was anywhere?
Nobody.
Nobody. I didn't think so. Yeah.
Nobody.
And so, when you mentioned DLo Brown earlier, I wanted to ask you about that. You actually refereed that match where Draws got injured.
Yeah, that was in Meadowlands, I believe it was. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah, I did. What happened there is DLo. I think he a lot of guys they oil up before they go out. Now, like I said, I'm just speculating. But I was there, so I think DLo had too much oil on him or something. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I remember DLo went to pick Draws up. It was going like he was going for the pile driver. And some kind of way, I guess he slipped or something. I don't know what happened. But anyway, when Draws landed, he spiked his head, just spiked, just like that. I walked over to him. I remember him looking up at me, and he says, I'm dying. I feel like I'm going to die. I think he was saying that. This is the first time I'd ever been in the ring with a real injury. So I'm scared. I don't really know what to do. I'm giving a signal to let them know, But that was pretty horrifying.
Yeah. And you knew immediately after that move was placed on him, you could tell he was definitely injured.
Well, I didn't know until he told me. A lot of times guys can land, sometimes they land all right. But the way he spiked, you could see it. But like I said, you just wait to see. You go over to check on him and you ask him, you okay? And when I could see draw, I knew then. So that's when you get a signal. You let them know, that we just had an accident here.
Yeah, that was bad. And there's never been any footage of it. That's the reason why I asked you about it, because I never seen anything on it, the actual move. I didn't see.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't either. I remember something on Dark Side of the Ring, they were talking about it, and I remember they showed some of the match, because I remember seeing myself there, but yeah, I never seen any footage of him landing on his head at all. I never seen that either.
And talking about injuries and stuff, were you there that night when Owen Hart?
Yes,
that accident. City. You was actually there.
I was right there.
Yeah,
I was refereeing then.
Oh, you was refereeing at that time.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
In Kansas City, Kemper Arena.
Okay.
That was pretty horrifying. That day we were all there. Me and Owen was a super nice guy too, man. Owen just loved to have fun all the time. He'd always rib you. Well, you had to watch him because he have a rib for you, man, right. all the time. But he was funny, entertaining. And all that day, it was me, him, and Godfather. We was just messing around, joking, playing, having a great time. And the way that I understand it is the outfit, I guess, that he had on, that blue blazer, costume or whatever, we don't really know what happened because nobody knows is Owen. And they're saying that maybe the clip or something came loose. Snapped or something and he fell like that. We don't know. I don't know. But yeah. I remember when they rolled Owen out, Owen was white as snow. And I seen him when he passed, went right out. And the hard part of it is, you to continue the show after something like that has happened, and you have to continue,
When you saw him, you could tell the magnitude of the injury. You felt that
he was gone.
You knew he was gone.
The way I heard it is that when he come down and before he hit the ring, his head hit the ring pole, that steel ring pole. Oh, that's what I heard. Now, I don't know. I don't want nobody saying that's how it happened.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, throughout your career, you've been in the industry for a long time. Who is the craziest wrestler that you've ever worked with? The craziest, like just nuts.
God, I don't know. Man, I guess. Well, I hadn't really worked with this guy much, but Bruiser Brody kind of seemed like was a nut.
Okay,
job.
Bruiser Brody.
But I never did really work with Bruiser. But watching him,
Yeah.
and stuff, he's kind of like a nut job.
He played a character like he was nut, but he was like that in real life.
No,
Okay.
no, well, because we in fact we had Mac Davis and we had his wife on our podcast, Road Trip After Hours, and she was telling us about the difference in Brody at home and away. He was just, and for everybody else, he was a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Man, but when he got got them boots on, he was just a different person. There was a lot of crazy guys back then, man. That's golly. Well, Bradshaw was a little wild too, boy.
Bradshaw was crazy.
He beat you up too, boy. I mean, you ever watch him with that clothesline?
Yeah, that clothesline is hell.
Brother,
Yeah.
he didn't pull that. He'd lay that in.
Yeah.
And then back when with him and Ron, when they were APA, man, they beat people up with them chairs, man. They didn't.
Yeah, they would work people
yeah,
over.
They was crazy.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
I was gonna say New Jack. Did you know him?
I didn't know him real well, but
Okay.
I did know him. I met him when he was just starting, back in the Indies and, getting back in Atlanta.
Okay.
New Jack was a nice guy. I really don't know what to say, man, because he was one of those people with, like 2 or 3 personalities.
Yeah.
He would be backstage and you talk to him, and then when he got in the ring, he was a whole totally different person. He was kind of crazy too. He'd do a lot of crazy stuff to his own body.
Yeah.
So, but he was a nice guy. Yeah, I met him too. I just never did understand him. I didn't understand why did he do some of the stuff he done.
Now, when you say do stuff to his body, you be talking about where he would.
Well, yeah, he would take the blade. He would
blade himself. Yeah.
Blade himself, and then, like I said, some of the bumps that he took were really bad. I mean, there was no way to
protect himself.
Yeah, he just but I guess sometimes, man, like in the old ECW days, a lot of guys there, were just medicated, and that's why they're able to take a lot of bumps and stuff. I mean, we're all there. I was back in the day. I was heavily medicated too, so that was just a thing to do. I guess I don't know. I'm just trying to fit in. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I'm gonna ask you, like, what is your top 5 wrestlers of all time?
Well, I'd say Mark Taker, Austin, Dwayne The Rock. You got and then JBL and Ron. I gotta have more than that. Like Randy Orton was one of my favorite guys too. Man, he was just super nice, and Randy could work, and you just enjoy watching him.
So, and it's based on their in-ring manship and also the way they work the mic and everything. What is it?
Well, here's the deal. Some people are talented in different ways. Some guys just can wrestle. Some guys can wrestle and talk.
Right.
So if you're able to entertain and wrestle, you got 2 things going for you.
Okay.
But if that's why you see managers. That's why a lot of guys have managers, because they can't talk.
Right.
I don't mean they can't talk, but they don't deliver.
Yeah.
So you put them with a mouthpiece. That's how I end up with Butch and Ron can talk.
Yeah.
But I'm standing there. I'm with 2 big monsters. I'm weighing 100 pounds, just running my mouth. So they just waiting on somebody to get me. So that was the heat missile.
Gotcha.
So like I said, with like Hogan, he's an entertaining guy. He can entertain plus wrestle. Okay, you got Rock. Entertain, wrestle.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got so many guys that are gifted with that. CM Punk, great talker. Okay, great wrestler. But some guys, you just get the wrestling out of them, and that's why they need mouthpieces.
Right. Yeah, they're good wrestlers, but don't have the other aspect. All right. Well, so who is your all-time top 5 wrestling managers?
I'd have to say Gary Hart. I liked Freddie Blassie. I didn't see much of his work, but I really enjoyed him.
Okay, Freddie Blassie.
I think Lou Albano.
Okay.
The guy was in Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman?
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, he's one. And probably there was a guy, you probably don't remember this guy, but this was way back in the day, man. His game was Rock Hunter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know him, boy.
But
he was
manager.
he was the guy, Rock Hunter. If you get a chance, pull him up.
Look it up. Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you think about second generation wrestlers, is there a second generation wrestler out there who is actually better than their father?
Well, I would say in this day and age, I would say Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes
would be a lot better than his dad.
Okay.
But his dad there's two different styles there.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So, but with Cody, I think there's more wrestling with Cody than there was with his father. Dusty was an entertainer, another guy, entertained, wrestler.
Right.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
Dusty was more entertaining than he was wrestling, and
True.
Cody does more wrestling. So I think Cody would be better than his father.
Cody. Okay, yeah. I would think, I don't know, I was thinking Orton, Randy.
Well, his father was tough, Bob Orton.
Yeah.
I had a chance, to work with him too. Yeah, so that's the one that's kind of too close to call. But his daddy was a guy too. But but Randy is just super, man. He's outstanding, man. It don't get no better than him.
Right. There are certain wrestlers who, can make the moves look like seamless and just.
Well, those guys know how to work.
Yeah.
And I'll take it back to some of them, like the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton, Stan Lane. Okay, they look like they beat you to death, never touch you. But that's how good they were.
They were good, yeah.
Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson. That's how good they were. Ricky Morton, you'd beat him down, he'd be crying. I used to referee matches, and man, I'd see women on the front row crying. When they were beating up Ricky Morton, because Ricky's selling, you know what I mean? That's what Vince was always high on, selling. You know what I mean? Make it real. If somebody hit you for real, you wouldn't be walking around like you didn't hit it. You know, then that's another thing I got along with him, because I could sell. A lot of time I didn't even have to talk. When I was with Big Guerrero, all I did was made facial expressions, because I'm looking at her like, one day,
right,
I'm gonna get you. You just keep it up. You know that's. Michael Hayes complimented me on that. He said, man, all you gotta do is just do this.
Who would you say was the best seller, like wrestler, that could sell moves the best?
Well, they had so many guys, cause back in the day, that's how you learn, that's what made your money. You made people believe. So they were just, a lot of guys were good sellers, man. Like I said, Ricky Morton was one of them. Eddie Gilbert, God rest his soul, he was another guy, you know what I mean? When you got on him, he sold. Kevin Sullivan, he's my best friend, love him to death, but he wouldn't sell nothing. A bomb could go off in the ring and he'd get right up. If you watch some of his matches now, you watch when they beat him up, he'll go grab the rope and he'll get down on one knee. That's as far as he goes.
That's it.
I swear I talked to him like 2 days ago. I talked to Kevin, and I joke with him about that all the time. I said a cannonball would go off. And Hogan was like that too. He wouldn't sell.
Yeah, wouldn't sell. Yeah. What do you think it is? That's just the nature of how they wrestled, or they just didn't want to seem like they were getting beat.
Well, I don't know. Just some guys, they just wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
And like I said, they would sell, but everybody had their own way of selling, I would say. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a no sale. It just wasn't. To us, when we look at it, we look like it should have been, come on now. But, maybe the fan maybe look at it another way. They may, Yeah. And I remember one time, God rest his soul, Chris Benoit, we were overseas, and Chris always did that frog splash. Well, that particular night, he went up to do the frog splash, and I was, standing back there watching the match. Didn't really, just so minor, but looked like to me he stayed at just a little too long. Okay. When he should have really, been a little bit quicker, but it was just so minor. Right. And he come back, and I was talking to him, me and him started talking, and he said, what do you think? I said, well, Chris, I said, on that frog splash, I just thought, might have been just a little too long. You could, and I mean, we just talking, brother. That upset him so bad. God, Teddy, you're right. You're right. I knew it when I was going up. I knew it. I mean, he took that so serious, and I'm like, oh God. I mean, I never tell nobody else nothing, you know. But then again, that was good because that helped him because people like him and myself, we want to be perfectionists.
Exactly.
We want this to be right when we do it. So maybe that helped him, and I wanted people to always come to me and tell me, you know, I remember one time me and Vince was talking, and I did something. I messed up something. I don't know what happened. But I was so mad at myself, man. Right. And I went up to Vince and I was talking, I'm sorry, I don't know what. And he stopped me. And he said, stop. He said, don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
He said, because if it happened live, it was meant to be. So he calmed me down. He made me understand, too. You know, I didn't mean to make them things happen. It happened.
Right.
So.
Yep. Right now, the Bloodline, the story with the Bloodline, what do you think about that story? Is it?
I think they're doing the right thing now to revive it. I thought at one time they had killed it, that it was over, and I thought to me it was just too quick to be over. I think with Rock coming now, there are going to be a lot of changes, and I think there are going to be some good changes. And I'm glad to see him try to bring that bloodline back, and I think what they need to do now is add some family to it to make it more real. And I think some more family members are going to be involved. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I think it's going to be good.
So that's your WrestleMania prediction? You think that's where it's going to happen at WrestleMania? Or?
I don't know where it's going to happen, you know, because in this business, you know, something can be scheduled to happen tomorrow, and it might happen that night. I've seen Vince do this. Guys will be in the ring. They already know what the finish is going to be. And Vince will change his mind, and he'll get right on his hits until the referee, no, I don't want him to win. Tell him I want him to win. So it'll change just like that.
Just like that, during the match.
Right. So,
okay.
So you don't, you just can't predict it. So that's why I don't say nothing, because you don't want to be wrong.
Yeah. The thing about it with Rock, you know, he's doing so much. I just don't see him actually having the belt.
Well,
would he be able to?
He don't even need it.
Yeah, he don't need it. Yeah.
That may not be the way that they're going anyway. It may be in another direction. Like, who knows? We just have to wait and see.
Right.
They may put it on him and then take it right away. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like I said, I think that's going to be real interesting.
Well, that's what, you just said that he could get the belt and then lose it a
week
later.
Night. I seen the guy winning on WrestleMania and lose the next night on Raw.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that could happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
And you got so many things that can happen here. So many things that can be an interference. You know what I mean? You got so much can go down here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you think the fans are still into that Bloodline story? Do you think that they really, or they're wanting to see something?
Well, I think now if you repackage it and you bring it back right, then you'll hook them again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you bring it back and you don't do it right, then you're going, they're going to frown on you. But I think they didn't totally break it up. There was some, still a little bit. So I think with Rock coming back, putting it back together, now your interest is, well, what's going to happen now? What are they going to do now? So that's going to hold you there, And like I said, WrestleMania basically, I would think, would tell a story.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Rock, the way he's coming back is like the old school Rock,
Well,
it's the way it seems.
It's what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, we got a lot of young kids that's working now that, God, they work their butts off trying hard to get over, but they ain't going to get over. Because you can't forget what brought you to the dance. I don't care, you can change this business all you want to, but if you ain't got no old school wrestling there, you ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
And old school wrestling is real simple. It's good versus evil.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta have.
Yeah. What do you think about the ladies though? The ladies, I mean, compared to back in the day, and
well, the ladies have come a long way.
You're right.
They made a lot of progress in professional wrestling. Women's champions, women tag team champions. The ladies have done a lot for this sport. They got a lot of ladies that, they look good. They look great on TV. I'm really impressed with Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
She does an outstanding job. I love Nia Jax, my baby mama.
Nia Jax, she just destroyed everybody the other night.
She is a sweetheart. I love her to death, man. Such a sweet girl, man. And Jade Cargill, I had a chance to work with her for a while before she even went to AEW.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was running a wrestling school in Atlanta called Face to Face, and she was down in NXT. Then Mark Henry called me and she moved to Georgia or something and wanted to get her a place to work out, so she came over to the school that I was helping the guy run.
Right.
And I had a chance to work with her there and do some indie shows and stuff with her. So she was impressive then. I told her.
Yeah.
So she's gonna go places, man. All she's got to do is keep her head on.
Yeah, I would think so too, because she definitely has that body and abilities.
She's blessed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So she has that. How many women would want to look like her?
Right.
So you take advantage of that. You use, you know what I mean, in the right way, in a positive way. And make you some money and do the right thing.
What do you think happened with her down in AEW? You think?
I think that they didn't know what to do with her.
Yeah.
And I think if they did know what to do with her, I think they had some people there that didn't want to do anything with her. Mm-hmm. They knew what they had. How you going to explain this to me? She goes from AEW, goes back to goes to WWE, and comes out and just big star out of the blue.
Right.
So you're going to tell me that you couldn't do that in AEW when you got some people that are working there that were working in WWE too, so they know how this works?
Right.
So you see?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
She did the right thing. Get out of there.
Get out of there. Yeah.
They sent me a message when I first left there. They sent a message to me and told me they weren't hiring any old people.
Wow. That's what they sent a message.
Yeah, they sent a
email?
message. Yeah, no, they didn't know email.
Oh.
They said somebody stopped me at one of the AEW guys.
Okay, yeah.
And told me.
Man.
I didn't ask them for no job.
Yeah.
I don't want to go over there.
Right.
I'm fine doing just exactly what I'm doing.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm not like some guys. I know when to take the cape off.
I hear
Can't
that.
be Superman all 24 hours.
Yeah. Okay. When you became inducted into the Hall of Fame, how did that make you feel?
Well, I felt real proud because I never thought I'd accomplish that.
Right.
I always thought the Hall of Fame was for wrestlers. Mm-hmm. Guys that, blood, sweat, and tears, bust their butts every night, taking bumps, they deserve that.
Right.
I never thought I deserved anything like that. I just walk out on TV and talk. But Vince McMahon showed me that I did.
You definitely deserved it.
So, and the good Lord. And I was just so happy because one of the people that said I had no talent, that I would never go nowhere, he was sitting on the front row. And I looked right at him. And you hear in my Hall of Fame speech, I said, for all you naysayers and all you people that said I had no talent, well, but God and Vince McMahon proved you wrong, didn't he? I was looking right at him. So, So I was glad to be able to say that. Because at one time you say something like that, you're fired.
Yeah, that's it.
You gone.
Yeah.
You don't talk like that.
And it was Ron Simmons and JBL inducted you.
Great speech.
Yeah.
JBL really told the truth.
Yeah.
He went back and with the history of the racism and all that, man. And for him to speak out like that, what I mean, that let me know. He's a good friend. So JBL is great, man. He's also scheduled to be on our podcast pretty soon, so we're going to be talking to him.
Okay, all right, yeah. What is a day like for you right now? I mean, you're not officially retired from the business.
No.
Yeah. So
I tried to. They won't
let
me.
You, yeah.
Right. So, basically, what I do a lot of indie shows. I do a lot of Comic Cons. I do a lot of meet and greets. I'm scheduled to... Right here, I'm with you. I'm scheduled here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Tomorrow we're doing a big indie show. I got some stuff coming up in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's a big big Comic Con and stuff. So I do that. Plus, I have a Legends deal with WWE, so they may call me to come back whenever they want me to come and do something. So I kind of love my schedule now because I work, for me.
Yeah.
But basically, what I do when I'm not working, I get up and I'm in the gym like 3 days out of the week. At least 4 days. I'll go 4 days. I'll take maybe one off. I won't take two. I can't stand it.
Okay.
So, but that's my day. And just like I said, after my wife passed, I'm just me and my dog there, and I just work out that every day, and I go get food, go home and eat. I don't cook. So I live in one room in my house. I got 6 bedrooms, but I'm in that one room. I got a refrigerator, microwave. I do everything in that one room.
I got you.
So I'm just enjoying but I plan on me and my dog. I'm gonna get me a nice spot and get my house to my grandkids.
I hear you, man. That's good. Well, Teddy, I definitely appreciate you coming through, swinging through, and sitting down with us today.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, man. I'm just happy to be able to, if I can come in and do something to help you out, man. I'm just happy to be able to do that. I don't call it giving back. I just call it, helping somebody. Because somebody helped me, and the worst thing you can do is forget where you come from.
Exactly.
It's the worst thing you can do. And I'll say something on this podcast. A lot of people don't know it, but I've accomplished so much. You're looking at a heroin addict. When I was a young man, I shot that into my veins. So God is still keeping me alive. So once you realize that God is keeping you alive, then you have to understand you have a purpose.
Exactly.
So I'm just staying alive, waiting on my purpose. Mm-hmm. As long as I'm here, that's something that He wants me to do. So that's just the way I live, man. I just try to do right and do the right thing, and that's it. And enjoy the rest of my life.
Exactly. Well, like I said, I definitely appreciate you coming through. Hey, you got a great career. You're still doing things and staying, active. Hey, keep doing your thing, man.
I will, man.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
Holla at a player.
Holla at a player. Holla, holla, holla.
I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my. Yeah.